Well, hello, my friends. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Real Talk Show. I am your host, Dr. India White. I'm so excited that you guys joined me tonight on the Real Talk Show with Dr. India White. Go ahead and like this post. Go ahead and share this post. Help me out with getting the word out. I'm super excited. We've got some phenomenal things that we're going to cover on our show today. So I hope you guys have had a great day, an amazing week. I know for me, I like to always tell y'all how I'm doing. I'm doing all right. I had a great day today. Had a pretty cool opportunity to present for NCTM with some colleagues. That was cool. And also, I just really have been just hanging out with some phenomenal people, great energy, taking care of myself. I think the only thing I could use right now is a massage because I've been working and running and just trying to juggle life and parenting and all that good stuff. But I am here today and I'm so excited. I was really looking forward to just hanging out with you guys tonight. I really was. So, oh my gosh, if you're here, just go ahead and say hey to me. Go ahead and comment. I'll be reading your comments during the show, after the show. Please make sure you like and share it. Like I said before, I'd love your help with that. Now, I'm going to give you guys some feedback about the show, some things going on. Like I said before, the Real Talk Show, it will be aired Monday through Friday, repeats on the SoulNet WKDH radio station every Monday through Friday, okay, from 10 to 11 a.m. I apologize. I'm going to adjust my sound for you. Excellent. Again, the Real Talk Show will be aired on the radio station SoulNet WKDH every Monday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay, make sure you visit www.soulnetwkdh.com to tune in to repeats of some phenomenal rock stars on the show. Not only that, we also will have our show being featured on Swain Girl Media Channel, which is hosted by Precious Swain, a phenomenal entrepreneur and friend. Please make sure that you download that. Look over at Fire Stick. There's more details of that to come. Reach out to Precious if you need more information on that. She is doing a phenomenal job with that work there. So you've got it also being featured on Swain Girl Media Channel. Okay, so many different places that you can see the channels, and I'm sure there will be more places that we will broadcast the show. So definitely stay tuned. And so with that said, I want to talk a little bit about just, I guess, my journey. And I've been so excited. I have been writing books like crazy in my own life. I can say I have more books written than my age. So I guess I'm doing all right with that. But I can tell you this, it was not done alone. I cannot say that I produced all those books on my own strength. I've learned the power in collaboration. I've learned the power in giving others opportunity to come alongside you and to support. And one of the best books I've ever written was my autobiography, Double for My Trouble. And I remembered when I was writing this book, it was a self-published book. And I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I need help. And it turned out that I had the perfect editor right in my circle of influence. And this woman, when I say she did an incredible job, it was probably the best editing I've ever had in a book. And like I said, I have over probably 36 books completed. And that book definitely by far had the best work done with editing. And I have to contribute it to this rock star that I'm going to bring on the show today, who is a self-made entrepreneur, a mompreneur. She is an editor and she is a CEO of a phenomenal editing company. And we're going to talk more about it. So I'm going to bring on the show now, Adrienne Horn from Miami, Florida. Welcome, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Oh my gosh, it's so fabulous to see you.
It's
Oh
good to
my
see you.
word. So tell us, Adrienne, people don't know how wonderful you are. They don't know about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as you've already stated, my name is Adrienne Michelle Horn, and I am a self-made entrepreneur. This was never in my line of sight. However, in Christmas of 2016, I lost my job, and I had a 1 year old, and it was one of those, Adrian, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
And after applying for jobs, the jobs just weren't coming in fast enough. I remembered that I had minored in English, and I just put out a random post on Facebook asking anybody if they needed help with editing anything. I was free and available, and one person bit the bait. It was somebody that I've known for a while who had a poetry book, and he just tried me out. Now, at that point, of course, I know absolutely nothing about entrepreneurship. I know nothing about prices, but I know everything about bills. And so everything that I was doing, I was basing it off of what it is that I had to pay. So when, okay, well, how much is this job? The light bill $117. The job is $117, and it just kind of it's what it was, right? And so with that, I got to the point where I started to grow,
Yeah. Right.
and it took off really. And now I am where I am, all because of the fact that I kind of got pushed off of a ledge, and when I hit the water, it was either you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim. And I started paddling for my life, and now I'm here.
That is phenomenal. Thank you so much for your truth, your transparency, and for this phenomenal story, this testimony, because I know there are so many people, especially in this time of COVID and trying to manage everything. They're overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. And it seems like you've tapped into a phenomenal gift. Now, before I talk about your wonderful work as an editor, in your own right, I want to ask about your schooling. Tell us about your journey in schooling. What did that look like for you? Where did you go to school? Tell us
Okay.
a little bit about
So that's funny. I went to uh my whole life. First of all, I was in private school. I went to Northwest Christian Academy from first grade all the way until 12th grade. My first public school was college,
that.
and I attended Florida A&M University, where I thought I was going to double major in both pharmacy and in English. Well, when I got accepted into the doctoral program for pharmacy, I learned very quickly that I could not double major in both pharmacy and in English, and so English became my minor, and then I kept pharmacy as my major. So when I talk about me losing my job in Christmas of 2016, I lost my job as a pharmacist, and so I fell back on my minor, and that is how I ended up creating I Am Editing Inc.
Wow, that's very impressive. So you went to private schools your whole life, and then you were in this huge university at FAM. I'm sure that was a bit of a shock for you. I mean, you
Yes,
had
it was.
where did you find your resilience and your ability to survive?
And it's funny that I ended up at FAM because like you got your doctor at Florida, right? That's where you graduated
Right.
from, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I had applied to Florida,
Uh-huh.
and I got accepted into Florida. But I found out that I got accepted to Florida after I had already committed and because of all of the dual the degree programs that they had, and I graduated in '07 from high school, so that was the year it was back-to-back basketball championships, back-to-back football championships, top 10 US news. Like I wanted to go and
Right.
everything. And here it was that I was going to FAM, and I thought that it would be a real nice transition from private school to kind of go to Florida. And packing up my bags on the way to orientation for FAMU. I'm checking my email, and I get the acceptance letter from
Uh,
Florida. But at that point, my Bright Future Scholarship had already been sent to FAM. Classes were already picked. Dorm was
yeah.
already situated, and it would just would have been too much
Yeah.
to change it. But I will say that I am very thankful that I went there because had I gone to had I gone to Florida, I know for a fact my minor would not have been English. I probably would have tried one of their PharmD MD programs or PharmD JD program.
Mhm.
And so it's just like what we always say, right? Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Um, and now when I look back on it, it looks like everything was just the quote unquote divine setup for what it is that I'm doing now. Because without having that English minor, I wouldn't have had this to
Right.
fall back on. Yes, I may have had another degree, like, oh, well, you got done with that. Well, let's see what you can do with your JD, or let's see what you can do with E. But none of that would have steered me into the path of entrepreneurship, because I would have
Beautiful.
just looked to go work for someone else, right?
Right.
So that worked out great in that regard. So
Proud of you. I love your hustle. Do you think that
thank you.
your experience at FAMU helped with that hustle that you have? Do you think your experience being a student at FAM helped with that? Because
Yes.
imagine if you're a student at Florida. I don't know.
Yes, yes. I do. I kid and joke all of the time. But it's the truth. When you go to a place like Florida, you have all of the tools that you need. They're right there. You just have to show up. When you go to fam, sometimes you have to find the materials
Right.
to make the tools that you need, and then you have to kind of try them out, see whether or not they'll work or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
just one of those things where you learn how to survive with the best of whatever you have, right? And
Wow.
so in that regard, it's quite different. But once you get to that point, you realize how much you can actually do. And so juggling mom and the business and a day job and everything else. I just kind of feel like being in college prepared me for a time such as this. It was the same balancing act when I was in school. It's just different elements now.
So, what inspired you to go to college? And did you have anyone? I know this is Black History Month. Did you have any heroes that you looked up to that inspired your journey to pursue pharmaceutical sciences and to pursue English? Did you have anyone that inspired you?
For English, no, not really. My parents got divorced when I was 14 years old. And they were so enthralled with fighting with each other that they really didn't pay too much attention to me and my brother. And I started writing. And that's how I became a poet. I really
Wow,
started poetry when I was around 15 years old. And so, yeah, so I loved it. I still do. I still write.
I love how you use that energy. It's there's always good in any type of energy. If you just take a moment and sit back and observe it and say, how can I use this energy? Even though it might be good and sometimes bad, there's a purpose to all the energy that is around you. So the fact that you're able to use that whole situation and say, I'm going to become a poet. And now you're an entrepreneur majoring in a master poet. So I think it's phenomenal that you have done that. And it reminds me of people like Amanda Gordon, who's up and rising, and how people like you paved the way for people like her. So, I mean, this is to be commended. I'm very proud of you and your accomplishments. And so, how did talk to us a little bit more now, Adrienne, about the business side of it with the editing ink and how did all that evolve? I mean, what was that like? What did that conversation, look like when you were having that? Who did you talk to? Tell us about your success with this.
It was scary, honestly. I jumped in head first. I didn't know what in the world I was doing. I just knew that I had to make something happen. I knew what an LLC was. I didn't know how to get one. But thankfully, I had a crowd of people around me who were supporting me that had already been down the path that I was getting ready to. They were able to help me so that I didn't make the same mistake that they'd made. And in essence, it became a lot easier easier for me to become successful as an entrepreneur, just because I had that push, and I had those people who were around me that knew what it was that I wanted to do. They saw the need that I would be able to fill with new and aspiring authors. And once I had the conversation, it was just taking one step at a time, putting one foot in front of the other, until we got here. And so now, I'm still evolving. May will be Memorial Day, actually, will be 3 years
All
that I've
right.
been in business. Yes, I'm extremely,
Congratulations.
extremely happy. Thank you. I was really scared when COVID happened. But even amidst COVID, last year was the best year
Yeah.
that I've had in business, in spite of. And so I am just so incredibly grateful for everybody who entrusted me
Yeah.
with whatever it is that they had, that they utilized us for. I'm so appreciative. I have a family, no different than most of them
Right.
um, have families, and it's because of people who are hardworking, just like me, that I'm able to live out and fulfill my dreams. And for that, I'm just eternally grateful.
And you deserve it. You deserve it, Adrienne. I love your energy. I like your hustle. You're honest. You're open. You're easy to work with. And you're a mommy too, right? So talk to us
Yes.
about how you've been able to juggle being this effective, successful entrepreneur with the work that you do, helping clients every day, and juggling motherhood. Talk to us about that, because I know there are moms out there wanting to be like you. They just don't know how to take that step. So talk to them for a moment and give them some words of encouragement.
It's hard. I will not lie, and it might be a tad bit harder for me, just simply because of the fact that I early on didn't have the desire to be a mom. I kind of fell into being a mom. People laugh at me all the time. I found out that I was going to be a mother when I was already 5 months pregnant. I had
Oh,
no idea. Yep.
oh wow.
Like the day that I found out I was pregnant, I found out I was having a girl the same day.
Wow.
So yeah. And so um I kind of fell into it. I didn't think that I was ready to be a mom. Earlier, if you heard knocking, that was my daughter at the door trying to come in here to the office in the middle of me talking to you. It gets crazy sometimes. I flew in here and locked the door 5 minutes before we
Yeah,
started. I had to put her table upstairs in her room. And she's eating dinner, watching TV upstairs so that I could be down here talking to you. It's
I
crazy
know it.
sometimes.
I
It's
know it.
crazy. um,
Yes.
but you figure it out.
Yes.
And you manage. And that's just it's all about making time for what's important to you. She's important to me. And the only reason, truthfully, why I even started this was because I knew, forget me, I had to take care of her. I had this helpless little being that did not ask to be here. It wasn't her fault that she was here. And I needed to do something to take care of her. And the solution was entrepreneurship. I mean, I just kind of fell into it. And so now I do everything it is that I can um for for her, and having platforms like this to be able to share my story and everything, it always helps. And so if I gotta put her upstairs in the room to eat dinner while I do it, well, that just is that's just what happens.
Hey, be flexible. My hat goes out to you. I know, my little kiddos, they get it. They know the message, and it's tough, it's tough, especially, at that age around 5. It's so much fun, but it is a lot, but like you're doing it, you're taking it one day at a time. There is no parent manual out there.
No,
There's
there
no
is
one
not.
size fits all, and the fact that, you've been blessed with this little girl, it was definitely a divine, assignment, and it was a blessing. And even though we don't see, I mean, I've got my 2 kiddos, and sometimes we don't understand why God's like, okay, I'm giving you this one, I'm giving you that one. Like, It's just like, okay, you say thank you and you just keep going on. Got to keep being
Right.
successful, right? So I
Right.
commend you for what you're doing, and I want to encourage you as well to keep moving forward, because so many women are being inspired by you and being impacted. They're being helped by you and by the work that you're doing. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I was doing some research on you, and you have produced a course. Talk to us about this course, ma'am. Square.
Yes, I have a course. It's called "It's Worth the Right," and a
Wow.
lot of times I have found that my clients, they don't believe that what they have is worth it.
Wow.
Truthfully, they don't believe that their words are worth it. They don't believe that the cost is worth it. They believe that nothing is worth it, and the reason why they don't believe is normally for one or two reasons: either their friends and their family who are the
Mm,
closest to them that they would hope would support them the most don't,
yeah.
or they started this journey before they found me,
Wow. Yeah.
and they were burned. And
Yeah.
so now it's just, what am I going to do
Been
this
there.
for? If everybody I come across is going to rip me off for thousands of dollars
Yeah.
without leaving me or giving me anything to show for it.
Wow.
I
Wow.
tell my clients all the time. Um, every other client I have, I promise, every other client I have tells me that they have had an experience with someone as an editor, a publisher, cover
Mm,
designer, formatter that did a quote unquote lousy job,
yeah.
that they're out of money, and
Yeah.
the whole nine, that they wish they would have met me sooner. I get
Mhm.
that all of the time. And so I decided that I would come up with a course is very, very basic. It's for new and aspiring authors, but because they are new and aspiring, some of the questions that you and I would know to ask because we've been around a time or two, they have absolutely
Mhm.
no idea. So somebody could tell them, "Oh yeah, that's going to be $700 for a
Yeah.
book cover." They don't know.
Oh my
You
word.
know what I mean? And it happens, right?
Yes, it
It
does. It's so
happens.
sad.
It
Oh
happens.
my word. We've
And
got
they
people, listen, we've got people ripping people slap off like $8,000 to publish a book.
right.
Foolishness. I'm sorry. Like it's just, we need people like you that are going to be honest and truthful, and someone that makes sense to, what their situation is. So, go ahead and keep going. But I'm so happy you've got this course going. I really am, because it's amazing. Go ahead and keep telling us about some of the components of this course, because I know somebody listening to this is going to reach out to you.
Well, it's basically trying to help you discover your why and then finding your path. And so, my first module for this course, which I believe is the one that's most important, because it is what sets you on your trek, is whether or not you are doing this for profit or pleasure. There are some people who write books that don't care if they make a dime. It's on
Right.
their bucket list. It's a legacy that they want to leave for their children, for their grandchildren, and they just want a nice, solid product to produce that their family will be proud of and can remember them from. And then you have others who are looking into being an author. Some people, we now have a quaint phrase, an authorpreneur. There are some people that this is what they do. They write books, and so their main goal is looking to make a profit. And if you are looking to make a profit, your path is a lot different than someone who doesn't care whether or not they strike gold or not.
Right.
And so it's helping you discover your why and telling you which path you need to take depending upon what it is that you want to do. And then there is telling the difference between fiction and nonfiction,
Mhm.
which genres are profitable and which ones are not. Um, the way that you can keep track of sales. Your elevator pitch is your book cover. You want to have a good designer and things of that sort. Your
Mhm.
ISBN is essentially the social security number for your book. You want to make sure that you invest in those. Yes, they do cost,
Mhm.
but it will cost you. if you decide that you're gonna buy from other people or you're going to get free ISBNs off of Amazon, you pay for it in the end, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's those small things that to us is just common knowledge is not so common to someone who is just starting to get their feet wet in becoming an author. So right now I have the course available. It's pre-recorded. The modules are all there, but
Cool.
starting probably next month, I'm going to start doing It's Worth the Right live.
Okay.
Every month, I'll probably pick a weekend, have about 25 to 30 spots available.
Hmm.
The course, if you were to go online now, the course is going to it's 297. But when I do it live, I'm only charging 99 bucks. And we'll hack through it on the weekend, from top
Nice.
to bottom, and everybody have access to me to have my contact information, and we can kind of muddle our way through this, at least to help get them on the right track. So even if they don't hire, I am editing ink while they're going and they're trying to negotiate prices and compare prices and things of that sort. At least they have a basis of sound knowledge where they can ask
This is
questions.
this,
It's important. So
yes.
that's the whole premise behind creating the course.
This is amazing. So you guys are hearing here. You got Adrienne Horn. She's an editor. She's an entrepreneur, an entrepreneur, a mompreneur. She's got this phenomenal course here. It's called "It's Worth the Right." It's a writing course for beginning authors, aspiring authors. If you're like, listen, I just need to get a book done for my life. I'm just ready to write this book. This is the person that you need to go through. Again, listen, I have written books with many different authors, publishers. I've been co-author, I've been best-selling co-author, whatever. And I can tell you, I trust Adrienne Horn with the work of my hands. She has done a phenomenal job. I told you guys before, she was the editor of Double for My Trouble, and that was the best editing I've ever had done in my life. I think she's got a gift here, guys, and she's offering it through a course that you can get on demand. So you don't have to, sit at a specific time. You can get that course and make it happen for yourself. So I think that this is definitely a step in the right direction for all of you aspiring authors. And even if you are already an author and you want to do more work, this is definitely something to consider investing in and to actually make that investment. It's definitely affordable. It's reasonable. It's purposeful. She helps you find your why. So I got to give you kudos, Adrienne. This is amazing. And so,
Thank you.
but I'm not done. I saw some other stuff um, about you as I was doing some research here. So you also launched. You're the launcher of the Writing Haven, some journals, right? So talk to us about
Yes.
this. So not only is Adrienne doing books, she also is doing some journals. So go ahead and talk to us about this really quick.
I fell into it. I started in May of last year. I am a journal junkie. I always have been ever since I've been a poet. I mean, they're all right here, just sitting here. A
Do you
lot
have
of
one
them
that
are
you can
blank.
show us?
Oh yeah. Give me 1 second. When I tell you they're right here, they're really right here. um, so this is one. Let me turn off my light. It'll be easier to see. Okay, so this is one of them. It's Beauty Redefined. It has a peacock, and
Yeah.
it's one that's near and dear to my heart. And then my bestseller is my wine journal. It says I can't write without my glasses. There's a wine glass here.
Aw.
And thanks. And when you flip it over, it says, "Can I get a refill?" And the glass is empty.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
so
Uh,
good.
yeah, so those are two of my my favorite journals. I
Mhm.
came up with those
Mhm.
and I started the process in May. I had a cover designer. Well, I thought I had a cover designer.
Oh,
And just like how I said I created the horse, I got burnt and
yes,
I had to start from scratch.
I
And
know,
so
I know.
so what was supposed to come out in August did not launch until
Yeah.
Black Friday weekend.
Yeah. But
But
it's
it
still
has done
launched. It's
it's done it launched
still
finally, yes.
right.
It has done absolutely
Excellent.
phenomenal. And I'm very glad about it. I'm releasing 3 new covers next month. Yes. Um
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's just something that I've fallen into. People seem to like it.
Mhm.
And I'm a very big supporter of journaling as it relates to mental health. A lot of people don't realize just all of what you can use a journal for. And so many people ask me, "Oh, Adrienne, what's inside of it? What's in it?" And I tell them that, "Oh, it's blank. It just has like a custom imprint, right?" And so they
Mhm.
say, "Oh, what? There are no prompts or anything?" And I tell them no. And the reason why is because a lot of the journals that are popular now, we have inserts and pockets and stickers and clips and stickies and everything. And by the time we decorate, we don't have any room to write anything. And so
Yeah,
you're really not journaling, right? You're just kind of doing stuff. You're
organizing.
just being creative, right? And so,
Organizing.
right. And so, the reason why I left mine blank, is because there are 4 major components that you can institute in order to promote positive mental health, right? And so, one of the things is creating to-do list. A lot of people are stressed, which leads to depression because of the fact that they're just
Mhm.
unorganized, honestly.
Telling the
And
truth.
so, right. So having something where they can actually write a list of things and plan it out, that makes it easier to get a grasp on life.
Right.
For 2, there is creative release, which is obviously what I use them for. I put my poetry in my journal. But there are some people who are songwriters, lyricists. There are people who like to doodle, who like to sketch, and you have plenty of room to do that in the journals. The next thing is releasing your past, right? So many people have anxiety, and they are depressed because of things that have happened decades ago,
Yeah.
that they are just holding on to. And I
Mhm.
tell people all the time that when you write in a journal, you can say whatever it is that you want to say. You never have to worry about being interrupted, and you never have to worry about it telling anybody. Never.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
It's
You know,
there
you know that
forever.
from your own story. You know that. And
Right.
so I love the power of that. And it's so true. It reminds me of when I was a youth, a homeless youth. And I had a mentor. And there were times that, I did not want to be vocal because of the stuff that I was going through. I mean, come on, I was homeless. What is that to talk about, right? And so she knew I would not open up to her. So she handed me a journal and she said, India, I know you don't trust me yet, but here's a journal. And it took about 4 months of me writing in that journal until I finally felt comfortable enough to open up to her, and the rest is history. We grew very close within 20 years, just being very close. And I contributed to having that journal and being able to develop my socio emotional skills. Students could definitely benefit from what you are offering here as well in schools, because we need journals in schools. We need students to have hope, and so I hope you're doing something like that. But it's just what you're doing is beautiful, and I'm so grateful, and I like to see how you have come out of your shell, and I remember when just how much you have evolved as an entrepreneur, from when we did our project back in whenever years ago to now, and the influence you have, the power you have, and you deserve every bit of it. And I just hope and pray that it grows exponentially to where you're going to need help, because it's just going to be so much, and because you deserve it. You have a good name, you're a good person. And I work with a lot of business people, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, in the states, not in the states. And I can say you are definitely one of the top people that I have worked with. And I know you're humble. I know, you're shy, you're classy, you're not all boastful, but I want to put you out there because you deserve to shine. and you are doing an incredible and amazing job raising your little one and helping so many women and leaders out there with the different journals that you're doing and with all of the courses and the books that you're editing. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I don't know. I know we have some books cooking right now, right? So did you want to talk a little bit about some of the works that you are helping leaders with? I know Aisha and others. Maybe you could tell the audience about what you're doing there.
Um, yes, I am a co-author of an anthology that was released last year. I actually have it right up here, I believe. Um, and I also am, and I can't find it right now, obviously, because I'm looking for it. But I am currently also editing a an anthology that we are both a part of. The editing is pretty much done. It's set to release on March 1st.
Yay!
It's been yes, it's been a long road. But I truly believe that the stories that are in there will help women to find their way. We
Yes.
all have power within us. There's always something that we have, even if it's small, that we can pull from, that can lift us to a height that we didn't think is possible. And so, for me, I have stated that I would be selling my journals along with the book,
Hmm.
just because after editing it and hearing all of the stories, or reading, excuse me, all of the stories that are in it, if you are a person who is trying to find their way, whether it be you are trying to overcome your past, right? Whether you are trying to explore another avenue for your career, if you have issues with family, whatever your problem is, you need to be able to write about it. You can't
Hmm.
read the book and not have something to write in. If you're going to work through it, you need something to help you
Yeah.
work through it. And there's not going to be enough room in the book for you to write, right? We got questions and reflections at the end of each chapter, but there's no space. So the journal is going to be a tool to help you work through all of what it is that you read. So I'm extremely excited about it, and I do believe that it is going to impact um, hundreds and hundreds of women in a very positive and powerful way.
Exactly. And I agree. And I'm excited. And y'all, this tribe here um, is one of the best tribes I think I've ever been a part of. Like it is fun being associated with this tribe of Pretty Women Hustle and all the women in it. Um, I just want to just give y'all a pre-warning of excitement. We're not done, so there will be more to come. And Adrienne, get ready, honey, because you already know you got work to do.
Yes, I know.
Any encouragement, any words that you want to give to aspiring authors and women that they want to start an editing business, but maybe they feel like I don't have the resources. I mean, she's saying that she does all this editing. I don't have the resources. I don't know what to do. Can you maybe talk about like your beginning, journey of it? How did you, get started and how did you just get some traction underneath you to where now you're established after 3 years?
Essentially, I started out with people that I knew. When you have people who trust you as a person, when you promise them that you're going to actually do a job for them, they trust that you're actually going to do that
Yes.
job, because
Mhm.
they have no reason not to believe you.
That's
And
right.
then when you do what they already expected that you would do anyway, you can
Mhm.
ask them for reviews, and to also share whatever it is that you've done with someone else who may need the service. And normally, the person who they are going to share whatever you've done with are folks that they know, and no different than they trusted you. That person will trust the word of them. And so, hey,
Right.
I spoke to X, Y, and Z, and he or she told me this, that, and the third. Do you think you can do something similar like that for me? Yeah, of course I can. And then you get it, and then it's great. Hey, can you leave me a review and share? And then the process just keeps
Right.
going. And then by the time you know it, um, you just have a whole list of clientele who consistently comes to you and expects for you to do a good job because you've always done a good job. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I ended up where I was. It all started out with people that I knew. And then once I had, enough people that I knew who were supporting me, then I had built the enough revenue to be able to do the graphics and the posting, because when I started there was no website, there was no branding, there was no Facebook page, there was nothing but me, my personal page, and can you PayPal me?
Yeah.
That's I
Yeah.
didn't have a business, nothing. No articles of incorporation. I
Right.
didn't have a LLC. I didn't have anything. Um, and it starts like that
Mhm.
sometimes, and it will get hard. What it all boils down to is if you have enough faith in yourself not to quit. That's
Wow.
really all it is. And
That's
as
some
long
powerful
as you believe in yourself and you believe that um, you can do it, you really can. Were there times that I wanted to quit? Yeah. I've had clients that made me want to quit, but every time I got ready to quit, I thought about that little girl right up here over my head,
yeah.
and it was just you can't quit, because the reason why you have all of this to start with um, is because of her. She knows exactly what it is
Yes.
that I do. She asks me about it all day, every day, how many emails I got to send, how many books I have to read every day. She knows
Oh,
exactly what I do. Yes, she
oh,
does.
that's so cute.
And so um I don't ever want to get to I don't ever want to get to a point where she asks me how many books I have, and it's, oh baby, I don't do that anymore. Oh, well,
Oh,
why you don't do that anymore? Because I just gave up. I just didn't want to
oh,
do it. I I can't, put in her, like, tell her, oh, you never quit. Oh, you never say that you
right.
can't. And
Right.
then the very thing I tell her not to do is exactly what I turn around and do, right?
Wow.
Um, you can't
Wow.
do
It's so
that.
powerful
And
because you're right.
so,
They're watching you, you know? They're
correct,
watching.
correct.
Mm-hmm. And that's so inspiring to me and to all of those parents out there that are listening, whatever your business is. You can't afford to quit. You have to have grit because your little ones are watching you. They need to have a story. I always said this to even my students. I said that when people are introduced to you as a person, they're going to say, "Oh, I know them. They do boom, boom, boom." And if those three booms aren't good, time to check yourself, right? If you people can't say, "Oh, I know this person because they're known for this, this, and this." And if those three things aren't something that are inspiring, something that is, causing revenue or helping others, paying it forward, we need to consider, right? Reconsider. So I think that you're doing a great job as an entrepreneur, as an editor, as a mompreneur. You are just helping so many people edit their books that your daughter is going to have a resume about you. And I think that's your train, your glory, and so it goes to show that hard work pays off. And so I didn't know if you had any events coming up or any things that you wanted to kind of let the audience know about that you have planned?
No, no events really. I've been doing a lot of things like this. They're always put on my Facebook page.
Hmm.
If anybody needs me, of course, they can all go to www.imediting.com, spelled exactly how it sounds. Um, and there is my contact information. Thank you, India. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me via my contact us form on my website, or you can call. I'm normally always working. People ask me, what are my hours whenever I'm not asleep. Those are my hours. So you can always call. I always try to make myself available, especially now in the times that we're dealing in.
Mhm.
We're dealing with. I try to help as many people as I can without overextending myself. Case in point, the great, the wonderful Cicely Tyson. I mean, she just released her memoir, and unbeknownst to her, 48 hours later, she was
Wow.
gone. Now we have her story, thank God. We
Yeah.
have it, and we can read it, and we can enjoy it. But what if she waited like 3 more days, or what if she waited 3 more weeks? You
Wow.
know what happens, right? And
Yeah.
the same is true for us. While a lot of us may not have as big of an impact as Cicely did on so many of us, in the same way that Cicely made her impact on the world. Um, you make, or everybody has at least one person that they have made an impact just as great, right, to that
Yes.
person who would benefit from their story, right, or a person who they look up to, or a person that someone else looks up to you, no
Yes.
different than so many people looked up to her, who would love to know your story so that they can pattern their lives after you and what it is that you've done, right.
Beautiful.
So when you look at it in that light, not only is your story indeed worth the write, but you can't wait because
Right.
tomorrow is not promised. That is evident. It's
There
not
is
promised,
a sense of urgency. There is a
right?
sense of urgency, and I think that I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have a fear of writing, and you spoke about that before. And I'll share a little bit about my own testimony and why I say this. So, my first book series was How to Overcome Obstacles from Your Past, right? And with it, I had a journal. How are you overcoming today? And before I wrote this, Adrienne, in audience, I was so scared because I felt like nobody would read it, and I felt like my work was not good enough. Just because it just was not good enough. Do you know that after I wrote my first books, I got them published, I got them printed, copyrighted, everything, and I mean this was like 2011. I kept the books in the corner of my room in the box for about 4 months. I didn't tell anybody they were done. And I would read them and be like, oh my God, this is so good. And then all of a sudden I heard a voice. I know it was God. And it was like, if you don't get those books out of that corner and go sell those books. And I was like, ah! So I did it. And I started selling, and then it just became an obsession. And I'm saying that because I think that you are going to be the catalyst to help people like me that are in the corner with their product in the box. You're going to help those people. And I would love it for you to speak now on why it's so important to overcome that fear and that sense of rejection, or that sense of I'm not good enough, and how you have helped people in the past to do the same.
It's funny. Just the other week, I saw a post on Facebook, and it simply posed a question that asks, "How would you feel if you found out that the one thing that you were so afraid to share with the world held the key that unlocked somebody else's needed destiny?" And it hit me like a ton of bricks,
Oh my.
because that is the truth. uh, so many of us
Mm.
have solutions for other people within our past experiences, within our stories, but because we're so scared, we don't share them. However, in turn, there are a lot of people there who would benefit so greatly from hearing your story. There are a lot of people who just kind of need that encouraging word, right?
Mhm.
to push them forward, to get them over the hump, to help them start making progress, to use their gift to forget their past, to blossom into this wonderful person that they're supposed to be, but they can't because the words that they need, they're inside of you. And because you have not
Ooh.
released them to the rest of the world, well, these people are just
Oh,
sitting here waiting on their
sorry.
answer, and you've had the answer the whole time. And because you're holding on to it yourself,
You're talking.
you're not you're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody else. And they just sitting here just
So
waiting on the key. They know you got the key, and they just waiting on you to hand it to them so they can unlock the door, and they can't, because you will not allow yourself to be a catalyst for someone else, to experience greatness, to experience
wow.
success. And when you think about it like that, that motivated me
Oh my
to
God.
want to do more and to overcome fears. I was scared about this journal line. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I didn't think anybody was gonna buy them from me. I
Yeah.
really didn't. I was like, I'm gonna spend all of this money, and I'm gonna put everything into marketing, into advertising, and nobody's gonna buy them. And y'all proved me wrong. And so since y'all are proving me wrong, I just keep making them.
Right.
And it just,
Beautiful.
it is what it is. But here it is now. I've created a tool that has faces that look like us, that is going to help people get organized. It's going to help people be creative. It's going to help people release their past. It's going to help people manifest things and help folks affirm themselves. And here it was that I had. What happens if I just hold it hold it to my to,
Oh
to
my God.
myself? What happens to those people? And you have people all the time. Oh, Adrienne, well, if you didn't do it, somebody else would. And I tell folks all the time they would, but the difference is that it wouldn't have me involved with it. And
Right.
I'm different than everybody else. See, when you
That's
do
true.
something and you have yourself in it, right? They can have a journal, but see, it wouldn't be a journal that was made by Adrian. It would be a journal that was made by somebody else. And what I have to offer is different than what somebody else has to offer, right?
That's right.
Um, and I was just listening to a podcast last week. Kimberly Lawson Roby, and what she said was is that her mother always told her that you're never better than anybody, right?
Right.
But you can be just as good as
That's
anybody,
good. That's good.
right? And
Yeah.
so it's the same
That's
thing.
so good.
Like I whatever it is that I have, it may not, I'm not saying that it's better than yours, but if you can come up with a journal that's great, well, shoot, I could come up with a journal that's great too. And
Right.
she could come up with a journal that's great too. And she could come up with a journal that's great too.
Oh,
Right.
sure can. Yeah, I know
And
it.
so,
This is
yeah, so
phenomenal. So, Adrian, so do you have any last minute advice, or is there anyone you want to honor this Black History Month as you kind of start us out with our first Thursday in February? Is there any one that you would like to honor, and any words of encouragement you'd like to give the audience tonight?
well, of course, it's all about Maya this month. Obviously, it's Black History, and I'm a poet, and it's
Maya?
all Maya.
Yeah.
It's Maya for this month.
Yeah.
Um, she
Yeah.
paved the way for people like me to just be able to have a voice and to not be afraid to share it. And like I said earlier, the best thing that you could ever do is not to quit. And not to be selfish, man. Share your gift. You never know how you'll impact a person. You never know how whatever it is that you say or whatever it is that you do will empower someone else to
Beautiful.
be as great as you are, right? So
Beautiful.
if I
Yes.
had anything to say, that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. And Adrian, thank you so much for sharing your gift of editing. Like I said, you do a phenomenal job. And I pray I
Thank
can
you.
be your client again. I am not done writing. It's like I've had a goal. I said, okay, I'm 35 years old. I'll write 35 books. And it's looking like That was way like it's so like, oh my gosh, Adrienne, I will be contacting you. So I just want to say you are just such a jewel, and you're
Thank
such a classy lady. You're doing a phenomenal job. Your little girl's watching, and she will eventually probably join your business and take over.
We'll see.
So, thank you so much for your contribution to society. And I hope that, maybe even school districts can contact you if they're looking for, starting classes with, an English, English teachers might want to take you in and offer you an opportunity to speak with students about how to write books and how to get started, or if they would like to maybe even invest in your course. I think you would be a perfect candidate to work with students in schools and even colleges and universities. I know people also might need editing with papers and stuff in college as well. And so, with that said, I hope that all the business you could ever think of and some would just come just streaming your way, like for real, and just it would just take over because you're just one of those people that just deserve it. And
Thank
I see your effort, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the work of your hands. And if you guys are just coming on, you have listened to Adrienne Horn. She's the launcher of the Writing Haven, which is a series of journals that you can order from her. She is a co-author of Pretty Women Hustle and so many other books. She even was the editor of my own autobiography, Double for My Trouble. She is the executive director of I Am Editing Inc. organization, and she also is the creator of a course. It's Worth the Write writing course. So if you need to write a book and you're looking for someone, not just someone that can get the book done, but someone that is credible, that you can also go back to, Adrienne is your person. So with that said, I'm going to give you guys her information one more time. So Adrienne's information, if you need to contact her, okay, contact Adrienne here on Facebook, Adrienne Horn, right, Adrienne?
That's
And
right.
then there's also the I am www.iamediting.com. Her number is 954-543-171 or 1711. And her email is right here, ia.m.editinginc@gmail.com. I'm going to repeat it for the radio, okay? So if you want to contact Adrienne Horn, you're going to go to Facebook, Adrienne, it's Adrienne Horn. And then if you want to look at the website, go to www.iamediting.com. The phone number to contact Adrienne is 954-543-1711. And her email, again, is ia.m.editinginc@gmail.com. And are you in Miami still, Adrienne?
I am still in
In
Miami.
Miami. So,
Yes.
so you guys go ahead and check her out. She is here to serve. She's here to help. I'm just so grateful, Adrienne, that you're on our show today and that you let us know also about the book that has been launched and that we can expect it to be out in March. If you want to tell us a little bit again about that information, and then we'll wrap up the show with that.
Yeah, of course. So essentially, I served as the editor and the co-author of an anthology that is being released by Aisha Jakia Cheatham and the Pretty Woman Hustle Network. It will be available on March 1st. And as I stated earlier, I will be selling hard copies of this book along with my journal, just because it's going to be impossible to work through the book without having a actual tool to write in. It makes no sense to read the book if you're not going to write as you go along. You're going to need to take notes. You're going to need to work out things for yourself. And so I want to make sure that each person that purchases a copy from me actually has a tool that is right there readily available, that they'll be able to use as they work their way through the book. It's going to be a very, very powerful book. It's a phenomenal book. I'm excited about it. There's a lot of truth in there. There's a lot of transparency. in there, and I just know that it will greatly impact the lives of each woman that purchases it. So it's countdown now. Got less than a month.
Woo! We are excited. So thank you so much again, Adrienne, for being on the show. Thank
Um,
you, everyone, for tuning in to the Real Talk Show. Please make sure you keep in touch. I'll flash our information once more. And with that said, guys, it has been a phenomenal show. Adrienne, thank you. We will
no,
definitely be
thank
in
you.
touch. And you guys have an incredible night. And until next time, take care, guys. I'll see you later.